Nobody wakes up one day and decides to destroy their trading account. It doesn't happen in one trade. It doesn't happen in one mistake. It happens slowly, so slowly that you barely notice it happening. At first, trading feels exciting. The charts move, the candles form patterns. Every movement looks like an opportunity. You start learning, watching videos, studying strategies, understanding indicators. And when the first profitable trade happens, something powerful appears. Confidence. It feels good. You followed a plan. You took a risk. And the market rewarded you, so you do it again. And sometimes you win again. Not huge amounts, but enough to believe you're getting better. Enough to believe you understand the market. And this is where the real story begins. Because confidence slowly turns into belief. And belief slowly turns into certainty. You start thinking, I know how this works. You start seeing patterns everywhere. Support, resistance, breakouts, reversals. Every chart begins to look predictable, but the market was never predictable. It only looked predictable because you were winning. Then one day, the market moves against you. At first, it's not a big loss, just a small red number on the screen. You tell yourself it's normal. Every trader loses sometimes, but this time, you don't close the trade quickly. You wait. You hope, you believe it will come back. Because accepting the loss would mean admitting something uncomfortable, that maybe your analysis wasn't right, and nobody likes to be wrong. So the trade stays open. Minutes pass. The loss grows. You watch the screen closely, not calmly, but anxiously. You begin to think it will reverse soon. You start looking for reasons that support your belief. You ignore the signals that say you're wrong, and suddenly, the trade is no longer about strategy. It's about emotion. Now, your goal is not to follow the plan. Your goal is to avoid the pain of being wrong. And that's when something inside your mind begins to change. You start making decisions faster, more impulsively. You take another trade, not because it's a good setup, but because you want to recover. You want to fix the loss. You want to return to the feeling of control. But trading doesn't work that way, because the moment emotion enters your decisions, discipline leaves. You increase your position size. You chase movements. You hesitate when you should act, and act when you should wait. Your mind becomes louder than the market, and the market punishes noise. The losses start stacking, small ones, then larger ones, and suddenly the screen that once gave you excitement now gives you stress. You stare at the charts longer, trying to understand what went wrong, trying to find the missing piece. But the problem is no longer strategy. The problem is control, because inside every losing trader, two voices are fighting. One voice says, stop, take a break, walk away. The other voice says, one more trade. You can recover this. You can fix it. And most of the time, the second voice wins because it promises relief. The relief of getting the money back. The relief of proving yourself right again. But relief is temporary, and the market does not reward desperation. Eventually, the account suffers. Not because you lacked intelligence, not because you lacked knowledge, but because you lost control of your decisions. And when that moment arrives, there is a strange silence. No anger, no panic, just realization. Realization that the biggest opponent in trading was never the market. It was you, your impatience, your ego, your inability to accept loss. And that realization is painful, but it's also powerful. Because the traders who survive are the ones who learn from that moment. They stop blaming the market. They stop chasing recovery. They stop trying to prove themselves right. Instead, they focus on discipline. They accept losses quickly. They respect risk. They treat trading like a process, not a battle. And slowly, control returns. Not over the market, but over themselves. Because in the end, the market does not destroy traders. Traders destroy themselves, one emotional decision at a time, one undisciplined trade at a time, one moment of weakness at a time. But the moment you understand this, the moment everything changes, because trading was never about predicting the market. It was about mastering yourself. This is capital era.